Hello. So this is week 10, the Artist Way Reflections. I have to say that each week becomes less and less hard somehow. I think I don't want to say that I'm easing into this process because it has been a very, very difficult journey, but I definitely feel more ready to receive what I'm being told in some ways, and I find it easier to read. I think like I would say even the first 6 weeks have been so hard to accept, and have been so hard to sometimes, like, I don't want to say reflect, because reflecting has been fine, but I think it's just like applying the things that have been said has been hard. And then like week 9 I decided to completely quit arts, and I guess after week 10 I realized that it was the balance of things that I was missing desperately, because this week, well, week 10 is week 10 is about recovering a sense of self-protection. And one of the first things that has been like in this chapter is workaholism. Workaholism, yeah. And responding to all of the questions in the quiz, on the workaholism quiz, made me realize that yeah, I do think that every step that I made in the last months has been correct in the course of action where I am currently. But I do think that I needed, like last week, I needed to say it to myself that, you know what, I quit because I got tired. And it wasn't to drop art. It was to drop arts, but I needed it to tell myself that I have other passions too, that I want to pursue. And while I have this passion, unless I'm respected in this passion, and unless this passion makes sense to me, it makes no sense to do it. And I think that was the biggest thing, is that I was losing a sense of art because I wasn't really creating for myself. And with the money that I have been given from being an artist, I couldn't really sustain myself at all. And also because of lack of boundaries, I was also extremely exhausted. Like, I was really tired, because on top of arts, like this year technically, on top of arts, I also had 2 other jobs, and I was really struggling financially the entire year, like honestly. And I feel like I brought me so little money that it just felt unfair, and I was so mad, and I was like, I wasn't loving it. I wasn't loving arts because the amount of work that I was putting and the amount of things I was given weren't aligning, to be honest. And I also started losing myself of trust in the fact that I'm even good, like, or even good enough, like in every way. And I feel like last week I needed to tell myself, okay, you know what, you're done with it, because I do have passions that also aren't artistic, and I feel like I needed to accept a lot of truths about myself last week. And now this week, week 10, recovering a sense of self-protection just made sense, because last week I quit it because I don't have self-protection in arts, and this week I am back because I feel like what I need is actual balance and actual motivation to do things, to create from me, because I feel like I have been very much creating for others, not from me. And it has been so difficult because in that I felt like I was creating in order to be appreciated in some ways, like actually just appreciated, like, because I wasn't getting paid much, so only thing that I could have is good feedback, and essentially that's it. And when I wasn't given it right away, I was really struggling and having a super hard time actually continuing, because for me validation is the only reason I was doing it. And because I wasn't doing it in my style, or I wasn't really creating out of myself, it was very much like, what would this person like, in order to, instead of creating because I like it and because it's me. And I feel like I came back to this week, that I really need to find that person within, and that artist within, and who she is and what she likes, because without it, it would be hard to create. And without self-protection, I would always burn out in arts. I will always burn out in life, and I have. Wow, okay. And I don't want to do that anymore, because I really want to be the kind of person that fuels someone else and gives someone hope, because that's the kind of person I need. And that's also why I want to be her. And that's also why I know that these parts of me that want to create, they need nourishing, and they need self-protection, and they need respect. Because I think what always has been lacking for me is respect in general, but also in my relationship with the world and with my relationship to myself. I'm so hard on myself, and I am so exhausted by the world around me. And I think that's also why I'm running so much, because for me, it's like self-protection in the way that I know how to. In some ways it's escapism or quitting, because if I push long enough, I mean, so far in my life I've finished a lot of things in some ways, and none of them made me happy. So I started feeling like maybe instead of that strategy, I need to intuitively understand when I have to quit or when I have to stop. And that's also why probably last week it was like a momentary thing. It's like, I can't do this anymore and I need to stop. And I'm really glad that I did it, because I think for the first time in a very long time I was very honest with myself that I am tired and I cannot continue going on like this. It's not about like me not loving art, it's about me needing my art to be mine, and that's it. Like, my art needs to be mine, and I need to have better boundaries with the way that I am as a creator, with the way that I am. Oh my god, my eyes are itching so much. Oh my god, crying is hard because my eyes are immediately like, fuck. Okay. Yeah, and oh my god, my eyes. Well, listen to the birds while this is happening. Okay, I think it's fine. Yeah, and then I think that for me was interesting. Drought, like feeling this lows in my life. And actually no, I'm gonna come back to the workaholism, because I feel like that's kind of still not done. I feel like that was the biggest one for me, is that I know that I work a lot. I know that I work myself to the bone. I know that I work myself to the end, and I know that I can do it, and I have done it so many times. Does my bank account show it, or the way that I look, or the way that I show up in the world? Absolutely not. And that was the biggest realization for me, that I look exhausted every day of my life. I look tired, and for what exactly? Because I don't know if it doesn't balance each other out. Like, it would be fine if I was like exhausted and then I was financially thriving. It's not really the case, and I feel like, or inspired, it feels like something is like a little bit empty inside there, because I am not nourishing myself much, and it shows. And there was one thing written like super big, is that workaholism is a block and not a building block. And I feel like it's been the hardest thing for me in my life to rest. I don't know how to do it, and how to do it productively. Because when I feel like I'm trying to find rest, I find a different task that I could be doing. Most of the time it has to do with taking care of someone, taking care of people, volunteering, and I love it. It's great, but like, it would benefit me more to retreat for a while, for a week, to have a vacation, to just breathe and do it intentionally and tell myself that, you know what, I don't have to show up for anyone right now. I have to show up for myself because I need it right now. And it cannot, like, literally, like, I'm saying it to myself because it cannot continue. Because if it continues, my life will always be a series of burnouts. And I would always look as tired as I look right now. And I don't want to live like this. I want to live a life in which I am inspired and where I'm happy in some ways and where my lows are not long, which is already so much better. And I'm so grateful. My God, crying really makes my eyes burn. My God, maybe it's, you know, maybe it's a sign not to cry on the internet, but I don't know. So I'm not gonna comment too much on drought because I feel like that one didn't move me as much, but on competition, I'm so sorry, I'm closing my eyes so much because my eyes are fucking burning. Was there jealousy? No, I think. No. Competition. For me, competition one was interesting. And I feel like I realized that if I don't create outside of myself and create really truly things that I want, then I would always feel a little bit like I'm in competition with someone. Although I actually disagree that we're in competition with anyone at all, because I feel like we're very different and we're very unique, and rationally I know these things. But when I am creating for others instead of myself, then I am in a competition because my style is then kind of like others. But if I do my own individual thing and create the kind of art that fuels me, that moves me, then I'm not in a competition, because someone might not resonate with my art, but someone will. And so I'm not in competition with others because everybody is unique to their own expression. But if I am not unique to my own expression, then of course I would feel like I'm in a competition with other people. And yeah, and I loved what she said here, is let us concern ourselves first and foremost with what it is within us that is struggling to be born. So clear. And as artists, we cannot afford to think about who is getting ahead of us and how they don't deserve it. The desire to be better than can choke off the simple desire to be. For me, it just seems like or it speaks to me, because I think it's like the more you're yourself, the more you're authentic to your expression, the more you let it in, the less you are in competition with anyone else. Seriously. And you need to let yourself like kind of express who you actually are instead of trying to fight with someone for that spot, because we are all unique. Again, we are all unique and we all have a spot in this world, and it's just because we are, and that's enough. And I feel like saying that to yourself much more often is what's needed. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't been doing a lot of artist dates. I don't know, it's been hard to spend time on, it hasn't been hard to spend time on my own, but it has been extremely hard to commit to fun things for myself. And I think I'm going through this process again. Morning pages this week have been also difficult because I have derailed a little bit from committing to this whole process, because I was a bit low, but I'm back. And the last 2 days I just forced myself to just write these morning pages at some point during the day. It doesn't have to be in the morning, just so I do them. And reading them back has actually been very helpful, because I have became a bit kinder to myself in my morning pages than I have been in the beginning. So yeah, and we're gonna continue this journey, I guess. And week 11, I'm curious, but it's been a struggle and a lot of realizations, but I am excited to watch back on all of this and see what changed. Yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.